start trainings with me introducing myself, but this is not going to be the case today because my face is all over this training. We're going to see so much of my face that you're going to be sick of my face. So I'll just give you an introduction to this. I've been training on ARC since we have started selling ARC as a company. I'm 2 years into this training. I'm the longest running ARC trainer, and it's a fun item to talk about as a tool to use with Canvas. I've been with Instructure for 3.5, almost 4 years, and so it's a good company. I like what I do. I'm going to just go through a high-level overview. We'll talk about why we like using ARC just to start out. This is good for the video, for the recording, and it's just good for a backdrop and how we are going to use ARC in the classroom to approach this session. Also, I do want to share this agenda. And for the agenda today, we're going to start hour 1 by working through ARC in the classroom. I figure that's about the easiest entry point if we're trying to do the most in an hour. And then in the second hour, if people stay around, we will talk about the ARC user menus. This is good for learning about how to manage the content that we are placing into our courses via ARC. And we'll get into that. One of my favorite pieces in there is talking about captioning videos. And we can do it from other places, but I'd like to think about it as part of that management space. So let's move on. Why do we use ARC? What is ARC? Well, this first word is actually probably the most important word to remember as part of this overall training, as part of your ARC and even Canvas experience. The reason why we look to learning management systems, the reason why we look towards video in the classroom is we are looking for meaningful ways to engage the students. We have to think of the students these days as more distracted. So let's meet them where the distractions are. And by more distracted, I don't mean less smart. I mean, we have students who are using mobile devices, who are in technology, who are going to be looking at mobile devices, use the mobile app 6 minutes at a time versus 13 minutes at a time on the browser. And we need ways to keep them engaged. And by still having students write papers, but also stepping away from papers and having students submit videos, we're looking at different ways of engaging different learners and different learning styles. With ARC, and part of the second part is we're talking about the management of the content, the ease of uploading content. We'll upload through the first part, but we'll take a look at where those uploads land as part of the second part of the training. And finally, along the way, we're gathering data. We're seeing who is watching what for how long in the videos. And that's part of the engagement as well. Who is actually watching these videos? What can we do to make our videos better? And we'll talk about that throughout this training. There's actually a fourth word that I'd like to include and that I would like you to remember throughout your experience. And I'd like you to use this word as part of the backdrop for your content creation, for your in-class curriculum, for your virtual classroom curriculum. And that word is, well, I forgot the word all of a sudden. It is, just kidding, it's process. The word is process. How we view videos and student submissions as videos is a matter of starting to determine the process by which a student is going to arrive at a conclusion, or the process by which a student works through a math problem. This gives us as instructors insight into how students work through content. And that's valuable information if we spend the time to learn from that information. If we learn about student hangups and math problems, and if we listen to, say, a student translating something, or we listen to a student recite his or her paper, we'll get to find out different components of this, how the student is working through content along the way. So some of the benefits of ARC for teachers, for instructors, for professors. We can think of ARC as a way to host and deliver both audio and video content. Yes, we can upload MP3s in addition to MP4s. We can encourage active engagement in course media content through the commenting, and we'll see the commenting here in just a little bit. We can direct students to key points or moments for emphasis. And if you think about it, if you can say, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, that makes a great second viewing of a video where students can go to those specific steps and follow along those specific steps in order to accomplish something. Think about your favorite cooking show on the weekend or on the Food Network, and think about being able to review the video and just look at the steps along the way, pause, follow along, and create that wonderful bruschetta masterpiece that you're trying to create for your Friday night dinner or Sunday night dinner. We want to be able to monitor students' behavior and their interactivity. That's the comments, or those are the comments, and that's part of the analytics. We could use it for our classroom discussions, especially in tandem with our classroom discussion in Canvas. And then the feedback that we can give is going to be timely and relevant. It's going to be in the moment, to the moment, where it's going to make sense. That's something that is a function of grading. On the student side, they're going to be able to access Course Media's content across platforms and across devices, meaning students can use a browser and watch an ARC video. Students can use the student app and they can watch an ARC video. This will give the students a chance to interact in Course Media content by using comments to ask questions and to share insights. And those comments, questions, etc., can be for the classroom as a whole, or it could be as local as a student commenting with a professor on an ARC assignment in the gradebook. And we're looking for the student to provide video evidence of learning, not just written evidence, but that video evidence of learning. So I'm going to get into my Canvas instance. We'll take a look at this content through a class, and we'll talk about the two main features or two main areas where we see ARC, but then we're going to launch right into building content into a class and also going through an overview of the video. So there's my face. That's me. I told you I'm all over this training. There I am. In part 2 of this training, we'll talk about how we can use screen captures or images so we don't get those awkward lip poses that are now out of date. And we'll talk about that as, again, part of the overall video management. So to really take a look at a video, let's look at this very first video and let's see what's going on right here. This is a short video. It's 1 minute and 11 seconds. This is me introducing myself to the students in my classroom being this virtual environment that is ARC. This is a video that has been viewed for a couple of years now. It's been my really linchpin for the training for that long. As we look at the video in the classroom, as part of my home page, we can see a series of dots along the bottom. These dots within the video are indicative of comments that students have made or I have made, and we'll see those comments below the video. Now this is kind of not the great way to do it. But this is not a fun way to look at those comments, because what we can do is we can play the video, and then as part of the engagement, we'll wait for these comments to pop up right over here. Here we go. There's a comment. That's a comment that I wanted to make. I wanted to point out an important piece. I can also use these comments to click on that option, select that, and you'll notice that down below, all of a sudden that comment is highlighted. Yeah, this is just an edited comment, so it's really boring. I mostly did that to prove that you could indeed edit your comments, and that's something that we can use this pencil for as a function. So I selected that comment. I dropped into that comment. Now I'm going to re-engage the video by hitting that timestamp, and that's going to allow me to resume the video back where I was. And comments from me, comments from some of my students, coworkers. There's my coworker, Woody, who wrote heck yes on this, and I told him to mind his language. Right below that, we have Abraham Lincoln. He deleted this comment, but here we are having a conversation that was probably one of the worst conversations between a dead president and a teacher in the history of the world. But we're able to jump into those timestamps to follow along. You can see what's happening there. If we just get away from this initial delete, we are able to have that engagement occurring within the video, some clarification of content, or just conversations about what is occurring. And I think in many cases, many of those scenarios are okay. The videos themselves allow for a few more controls, and let's work through this. Right here we see a volume control. That's what those little lines are all about. Now, admittedly, those lines don't do very much when we just look at them. They seem fairly nondescript. But if you ever have to train people on how to use ARC and you have a video playing in your ears while you are speaking, it's nice to be able to turn down that media content. It's nice when you're showing a video in the classroom and you're hooked up through HDMI and the speakers are just blaring. You'll be able to switch up this content and volume here. I say that because I've done that. We can adjust the playback speed of our videos. We can go twice the speed, we can go half the speed. And if you use ARC videos as submissions or have students submit ARC videos, if they hem and haw, if they pause, if they are searching for words throughout the video, you're going to be able to watch the video at 1.5 times the speed and to get through it. And I will tell you this, one of my jobs is to review newer trainers, the people that are part of my team but have not learned how to use ARC yet. We built a course for ARC and we have students submit videos using ARC, and then we provide those feedback on those videos about ARC, using the comments. And rather than sit through a 60-minute video or an hour-and-a-half long video, I will speed it up by 1.5 times to get through the content more quickly. And so that's a valuable tool. And we even have now, as a team, started uploading our team meetings as videos into a Canvas course using ARC to host those course. And when I'm traveling, and I travel a lot for my job, when I'm traveling and I miss a meeting, I can go back and review that meeting at 1.5 times the speed, and I can get through the content quickly or more quickly. And that's a really useful tool for reviewing the content. So don't overlook these options. Now, there are some exceptions to it. That exception would be a student who has submitted a YouTube video. In part 2, we're going to showcase captioning content, or how we can set up closed captions on videos. This is one piece that came into ARC just over a year ago. And for me, that was the moment that ARC went from a good tool to a great or an incredible tool, as it opened up so many more facets to what we could do with video in the classroom, namely driving accessibility and also really just creating the caption content for the content. And it's actually a piece I wish I would have been able to use back at Utah State University prior to working at Instructure, when I, as a sometime function of my job, I would review and create transcripts for interviews that we had conducted out of our special collections and archives. I could have run these, I could have downloaded that file, and I could have made some edits from that file directly without having to go through this transcription process of hitting a pedal to start and stop, rewind, etc. the entire time. Moving on, that little gear, that gear lets us see the different video qualities. I recorded this as a low quality video, therefore I have a low quality recording, a little less bandwidth that way. But depending on the tool used or the service used, even the tool that is going to show up a little later in this training, we'll see that we can change the recording quality. And if I want to watch this on the full screen, I can by selecting those arrows. So that's good and well, but let's get into the anatomy of the video just a little bit more. And I'm going to start with details on the left-hand side. Under details, and let me select edit details, I can give my video a title or change the title of a video so that's a little bit more conducive and so to the classroom, and so that I'm employing one of my best practices when it comes to adding content to Canvas. That is to use good and descriptive naming conventions. If I want to go beyond that, I can add a description to the video. I also have the opportunity to add tags to the video so that I can more easily find these videos when I am in the management space, or if I'm reusing these videos from course to course. That's more of the part 2 of this training. And we'll save captions for a little bit later. I'm going to save these changes, and now let's take a look at Insights. Now within Insights, and I'm really demoing this content right now because we probably don't have too much content in place, and also this is going to lead up to you building content a little bit later and to have an idea of where to go look for these pieces. But when I get into Insights, I'm really looking at the analytics for the video, and that namely is to see who watched what for how long. Right now, I'm looking at all the viewers of my course. and, or at least all the viewers who viewed this video within the course. And what I can see is that about 14 viewers started this video. At around 10 seconds, we had 15 viewers. Around 15 seconds, I had 16, 16, 15, 14. There we go, 15. And then I had people drop off at the end, which is kind of sad because this video is only 1 minute and 11 seconds long. Now these views right there, I'm going to select myself. I've watched this video tons of times. And the insights are going to show the composite of one view. By composite, I mean I could have jumped in here and watched it for 10 seconds and left, and watched the second 10 seconds and left. And I could have milled my way through the minute and 11 seconds of this video. But I've watched it multiple times. Gentry, the former product manager for ARC, he is really one who took it really a long ways under his direction. He didn't actually watch my video. He helped me set up the course, but he didn't watch the video. Abraham Lincoln. There we go. We got Honest Abe in there. Annie Oakley. She watched the entire video. Marie Curie. I don't know what's going on in there, but she skipped a little bit of the video. Edna St. Vincent Millay was too busy pontificating about spring. She didn't watch the video. Hemingway, surprised, he watched the video. Stein watched the video. Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin skipped some, and then he didn't. He's one of those viewers that didn't finish the video. So you get the idea. We could to jump through and see who is watching what. Now the disappointing thing is I have quite a few people in here. I'm around 30 people, or have around 30 people in this class, and the most I had was 16 views. And so that is, you know, something to take into consideration in what's going on. Ultimately, these insights are important for a couple of reasons. The student facet of that, or the student aspect of that, is we do want to make sure that the students are watching the videos. We do want them to be engaged, and we want to make sure that they watch the entire video. And if they're not, then maybe we need to think about what's going on in that video. If a student drops out for the last third of the video, does it tell us that our videos are too long? Well, that's potentially the case. Maybe we're not creating an engaging video. Maybe we're not creating or maybe we're doing too much in our videos. And maybe we need to make the video smaller to chunk the content, as it were. Or maybe we need to add some accountability to those videos. By accountability, I mean maybe start pulling quiz questions from the tail end of videos, maybe, and using those to make sure that the students are actually spending all the time watching the content. I suspect that the solution falls somewhere in the middle, where we should work on engaging and good videos that can be concise while making sure that the students are answering questions based on all content in the video. So just want to do a check. Does everybody have a computer with them so that we can participate in some hands-on activities?
We have some computers here.
All right. Well, we'll give a few things a shot then, just to drive it a little bit. I'm going to make my way over to modules. Modules are really, in my opinion, the best way to create and deliver content. And it makes it so that we can use our ARC videos alongside our assignments, even ARC-based assignments in our classroom. And it's the way to organize and deliver, to make sense of content for students, and so on. I don't think you need to hear my ARC diatribe, or module diatribe, but there we go. So what I'd like you to do is to move to one of your modules in just a second, and I'm going to have you create a couple of content pages within your module. And we're going to do it the easy way. We're going to go with ARC content, ARC page. We'll go with ARC page right there. I'm going to add that item. And just to speed up the process, because we're really focusing more on embedding videos versus going through and building nice content pages. So for this, I want us to make sure that we go to the snowman or the kebab that's on the right-hand side of that page, and then duplicate the video a couple of times so that we can have these copies and so that we can work through these copies for the content. I think I've copied pages in the past, and that's why we're seeing some of those names. So what we're going to do now is we're moving into a space where we can start adding videos. And so for this one, I'm going to go into this content page, and this is going to be our pathway to work through a couple of different video types. Let me edit the video. And as I get into edit, what we are looking for is the ARC icon in the rich content editor. It may be the first item as it is in my case, or it may be potentially under the pull down menu, but look for those swoops, those, the chevron, I guess, insignia. Once we do that, we'll be able to engage or launch ARC by selecting that icon, and that's going to take us into a space called My Uploads. And we'll look at this throughout or through the second half of the training. What I want to do here is talk about adding content to a page. I'm not going to show you the easy one, which is just to select something that I've already uploaded, because I imagine right now you're looking at a couple of videos or no videos at all. So I would rather talk about our record option and our add option. And I do want to start with the add option just to go that route. When I go to this add, when I go to this plus the play button, that's going to give me two items in this list. I can either find something that I have created and uploaded, or I can paste a YouTube URL. Now, the YouTube URL is not going to allow me to download the video, and it's not going to allow me to change the playback speed on the video. But other than that, the functionality is largely the same. We can have comments on the YouTube videos that we find and use in the classroom. And I'll do a YouTube video in just a minute. That's part of the reason why I built multiple pages. So to add this first piece of content, I've selected my browse file, and I'm going to find a video that I have created. I'm going with this one, my rubric video. Just going to double click it, and there we are. I could have dragged it and dropped it into this area as well, but I'm uploading this video. It's about 2.5 minutes, I think. Truth be told, I don't know if it's a rubric video because I didn't pay attention to the name before I renamed it. Oh, it's a rubric video. There we go. So that's step one. I've uploaded video. Let's pause here real quick and let me tell you about uploading videos and where I would do it. Well, the where part is actually here, or if I'm bringing in a series of videos or multiple videos at the same time, I would be using the ARC tabs that we'll be focusing on for the second hour of this training. If I'm doing one piece at a time, here I go. This is my process. I'm going to place it exactly where I want it as I'm building and deploying my course content. When it comes to the videos, we can upload any single video that's up to 10 gigabytes in size. That is 10 gigabytes. That's a lot of video to have in the classroom. And so that's how much we can do in any single video. In terms of the amount of videos that we can bring in at one time, well, ARC will support multiple uploads. The most I've ever run is 15. The most I've ever heard or seen being run is 50. And I imagine it goes much farther beyond that. I imagine a lot of us don't even have 50 videos that we could all upload at the same time. But if you do, you could run them all at once. The only limitation you'll really have in uploading multiple videos is your bandwidth, as ARC does a great job of uploading and transcoding those videos so that they can be placed in the classroom. So let's go through that. I've uploaded this video. Now I just need to select this video. As I select the video, I can determine whether or not I want students to be able to comment on this video. And we started out this session with me talking about the comments and showing the insights, etc. And that's nice, but sometimes we just want the video to be viewed. Maybe we don't want the comments to be part of it. We can still bring in the video, and we can still capture the insights by, we'll take a look at it in part 2, by going through the menu space to look at the content. I'm not going to back out. I'm committed to this video, and so I'm simply going to embed that video. And there we go, crickets. Let's start a discussion. There's the video, and let me scroll down a little bit. And I'm going to save and publish this content, and here we go. There's the ARC video as part of my classroom. minute and 45 seconds, playback speeds, higher quality. I recorded this one in QuickTime. And I have no comments in place. And in terms of insights, nobody has viewed this video. That makes sense. I'm not reusing a video in the classroom, and I've just embedded this in the classroom. So to give you a hands-on activity moment, let me go over here. What I'd like you to do is to create a content page like I did. I'd like you to duplicate that content page twice by going over to the three dots or the kebab or the snowman on the far right-hand side of that module where that content page is, and duplicating the content. And then I'd like you to go to the very first content page and add a video using the rich content editor, that ARC icon in the rich content editor. Let me give you a minute or two to do those. If you have a video on your computer, that'll be a little bit easier. If not, we could probably just skip on ahead to the next portion of the training. Also now, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask those questions.
I think we could move to the next thing, Nick. People are kind of doing it as you were talking.
Well, that's cool.
Well, I'm just curious as to where would we actually be doing this practice? I don't want to do this in my-
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
Oh, where would he do it? I would
Yeah.
figure Sandbox if you have your,
Yeah.
of course, you want to copy that over to your course. I can show you how to take this out. You don't have, he doesn't have to publish it though, Nick, right? For him to see.
Oh, he doesn't need to publish it, no.
We don't want to mess up with courses that are about to go live anyway.
Well, fair enough, fair enough. With this, if you'd like to, you can practice in an unpublished module in one of those live courses or almost live courses. And as long as you keep it unpublished, it'll be just fine. And delete it afterward, delete the content afterward. It's not going to hurt it.
We have a question here, Nick, just a second.
Sure.
So I want to make sure I understand publishing. So there's publishing of the course, but is there a way to not make this so that it's accessible to students?
Sure. Let me just move over and I'll show you that really quickly. First of all, this content page right here is the one I've just added and I saved and published. If I just select that or toggle that to unpublish it, then it's unpublished. My students won't be able to see it. That's kind of level 1 of publish versus unpublished. Let me show you level 2. And this is where if you want to practice in an actual course, you'll be just fine. In level 2, under modules, you can have an unpublished module with published content in the module, and the students won't be able to see the content within that module despite it being published. Now, level 3 is actually the entire course, and mine's published and I can't unpublish it, but you would be able to publish or unpublish the course right about here in your homepage. Don't do that until the class has started or until the policy kicks in for that. And let me just qualify why I did save and publish. If I have time to in this first hour, I'll go over to the student view and we'll take a look at it from one of my students' views. Does that help?
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it does, Nick.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We can move on. Thank you.
Sure thing. So we've added that piece of content to that first content page. You can either hit next, or if you're in a module like I am and went back to the module like I am, go ahead and go to that second option. And this time we'll bring in a YouTube video just to go through the practice of it. So the pathway again, edit, find that ARC icon. And now we're going to need a URL for that content. So let me select add. And then, yes, we're going to need that. Now, I opened up YouTube ahead of time. I did my search ahead of time. I really don't like doing YouTube searches in trainings or logging into YouTube during trainings because we see videos that really run the gamut in terms of what's going to be there. Let's go with this video. It's a James Galway, Matt Malloy piece, and I'm going to mute that so I don't listen to it. This is kind of it's actually a really cool video if you're into Irish traditional music. I copied that URL. I just went up here, double clicked, selected copy. And now I'm just going to paste it into the YouTube space, and then I'm going to add the video. And this is pretty much instantaneous. What's happening is the content is still hosted on YouTube. It's going through a pass-through into Canvas via Arc, but as it goes through Arc into Canvas, it's getting that Arc skin on it, and I'll show you what that means. I selected that video. I can determine whether or not to allow comments. I'm not going to do it on this time, on this one. And I'm going to embed that video. And there we go. We have the next video in our class. I'm going to save and publish. If you do this, then you can save. In fact, I was going to pause and do that as another activity. But here's the video that I've just added to the space, 54 minutes. We can play the video and we can see, get those insights for the video. In fact, since I'm playing it right now, I'm getting insights from my own viewing of the content, insights that aren't going to be down to the 5-second range because this is such a long video. There we go. Another thing that you should pay attention to with YouTube videos is that Canvas should be stripping the video suggestions out of it, especially as they show up at the end of the video. So it's not going to behave like your typical YouTube videos, or shouldn't behave like your typical YouTube videos. And it also should remove the suggestions and even some of the advertisements along the way. I was going to drop in and have you do that as a second hands-on activity. Do you want to spend a minute to do that, or do we feel good to move on?
Working on one.
Yeah, just a second, Nick, we're trying.
Sure thing.
Well, I'm making up for this morning when I didn't do anything. So.
I'm laughing. You just can't hear me because I'm muted.
Okay.
No, it's overfishing.
Just as a side thought, if you have those sandbox courses, those practice courses, you can be a bit self-serving with some of these YouTube videos. I watch YouTube videos to learn how to make some changes on my car, like I had to replace my starter motor last February, and I watch YouTube videos. Now, what I should have been doing was placing those videos in my Canvas course in ARC and notating those steps along the way, so I could have skipped ahead to specific steps using those comments. How's it going?
He thinks he was successful.
Well, success will look about like this, or like this. I mean, not
Got it, you got it.
excellent, excellent.
Yay.
Yay.
What you'll find is the YouTube pass-through is really fast versus the pass-through using the uploads on the videos. We're still uploading content, and bandwidth is really our only it really is our only holdback or drawback to that. So let's move on to the next page. You can either go back to your module and find that third page, or you can select next to get to it. And the reason I had you build 3 again, so you can just navigate through them in order. Either way, I'm going to move into this content page, and that's another reason why, just as an aside, one of the reasons why I might publish as I'm going along is so it's kind of a way to track your progress. Even if the module's unpublished, you can track your progress by publishing within that module. And still, the students aren't going to see it. let's select edit. And this time we're going to use a new tool in this, and we're going to see my face again. I probably should have shaved today. So far we've focused on adding content using that plus add option. That plus add option, which has allowed us to upload a video and to bring in a YouTube video. I mentioned that we didn't do it, that we could grab any of the videos that we've created and select one of those videos, and we'd be able to add the video that way as well. So we can grab existing videos. Another option that I haven't shown you is that you can grab videos that you may have placed in another course, so that another user that you're co-teaching with has placed in the course, and you'll be able to bring in one of those videos into the classroom as well. And as you do this, it's going to be a clean video, meaning from course to course, the comments that you place in one course are not going to show up as comments or insights in the other course. It's essentially a clean video each time you add it to a course. If you reuse the same video in the course, all the comments come along with it. So consider making a copy. So let me get back up. And again, menus our second hour. Now let's talk about this record tool. We're going to be taking a look at these two pieces. I actually want to start out with the webcam capture and then move on to the screen capture for a second piece. The webcam capture is exactly what it sounds like. It's the ability to turn on the webcam. This is a feature that came into ARC late February of this year. There I am. Hey, everybody. And so with the webcam capture, what I'm doing is I'm selecting the mic that I'd like to be using for the training. In this case, I'm really just going through my headphones, so it doesn't make much of a difference. If I have a different camera that I can use, I'm not sure why I'm pixelated there. If I have a webcam that I'm using, I can pull in and use that webcam for the recording. Now, when I select start recording, I'll be able to start the recording for this content, and that's going to be that. But you might be wondering, well, what's the big deal here? We have this ability already with the rich content editor. Well, this is nice because we have the comments, we have the insights, and I would just say, I think, other than whatever this pixelation is that's happening right now, we have a better user interface. So let me start the recording. All right, hey everybody, I'm recording this message to you. This could be my announcement. This could be my directions on how to work through an assignment. This could be a content page, and I'm just telling you what to do as part of this content page. Maybe I'm just delivering some informal lecture in the attic space of my way too hot house here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And thank you, California, for the smoke outside. And there we go. I just recorded 28 seconds worth of content. I will need to give that a title in order to have it save, or should at least give it a title. And as I save it, it's going to upload and add it to my content. Almost. Give it a second to process. There we go. And now as I select that option, I will be able to embed that video, and here it comes. Here it is. I'm going to save and publish that content. And now I've just created this video right here. Again, that pixelation is kind of weird. It usually doesn't happen like that.
Nick, I think it's because I'm running Zoom, and then you've got, I think that's like a double.
It's like, yeah, we're like double dipping on the bandwidth right now.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Yeah.
I'm not sure if Zoom takes up more bandwidth than Adobe Connect. I usually do this in Adobe Connect without a problem, so.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be everybody logging into Netflix because it is 3:46 out here on a Friday in Salt Lake City.
We have bad bandwidth here, so.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that I have Google Fiber, but I'm not going to tell you that I have Google Fiber.
Okay.
So this actually will take us to that next activity. So on your third content page, go to the ARC icon, select the webcam option, and record a video using the webcam. I'm going to mute myself, but don't worry about the overlap in sound between each other, and just spend a minute and try this out.
Yeah.
Hi.
This is weird. I have to get used to this, but yeah, I totally want to do this for my online class. But I've been doing just text-written weekly announcements, but to be able to do this by video is just going to make it a little more that personal connection. So, with that. All right. Okay. So I have to title it.
What about the captioning for the recording room?
We'll get to that.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, Nick, we've had a lot of questions about captioning, and I know you're going to cover that in a bit.
Yeah, why don't we move that up to this first half? What I would like to do is show the next tool, which is screen capture. Then we'll just jump right into captioning before we talk about video management. Before we do that, though, how did that work for you? That webcam capture?
I think so. We're finalizing.
Oh, I'll shut up then. Sorry.
Sorry, we're.
Doing this on what's technically a live shell, so.
It's okay. I
It's
mean,
a random, yeah, I'll delete it all out. I can remove it later. I don't think it's broken around too much. That's true.
yeah, looks good, Nick. We're good.
Awesome. All right, let's try the webcam capture now. So for this one, I would like you to go back to that module that you're working from, please. Just select modules. And rather than adding the content page, let's go to that plus within the module. Remember just to cross that line, the module plus that we use to add content. And for this one, we are going to select external tool, the underutilized external tool. The external tool area is where we can add content from really the different apps that we've added. I use it for Google Office 365, I use it for YouTube, and I use it for ARC content. I use it quite a bit for ARC content for this training. So I'd like you to please select ARC from that external tool list, and you'll notice that we're looking at the same interface once we do that.
Would you just repeat that one more time?
Sure, I'll go through those steps again. So from our modules, and find the module that you're working from. I was really lame on my name here. I just went with my ARC module. It's because I delete content from this all the time. Go to the plus that we use to add content, the same plus we use to add our content page. And from the pull-down menu, find that external tool option. Very bottom of the list, the one that is not widely used. Now from there, find ARC. The list is going to be in alphabetical order, and it's nice that ARC is probably the first item or at least close to the top. When we select ARC, we are going to be looking at the same interface that we've used to add videos to the classroom already. So really, instead of going through content pages, we could have built or added videos through this means. We could have been uploading videos in the same space, and in terms of, say, clicks involved, this requires 8 clicks. The content page requires, I think it's 11 clicks. So you can save yourselves a few clicks if you go this way. The only downside is, and when you see it, is we have a slightly smaller video that's going to be in this space. We're going through this pathway for 2 reasons. The first reason is to show you that you can use it as an external tool and save yourself a few clicks. The second is, well, I actually want to use this as the opportunity to talk about screen capture and the screen capture tool. So select screen capture from the list. Screen capture, the first time you launch it is going to, and I'm just going to let mine spin here for a second, ARC is going to request, and Canvas is going to request that you download the screen recorder. There's going to be 2 steps to it. You're going to download and install the application and then relaunch this menu. And we're also in a safe place to really launch the content as an external tool. So for this one, informal activity, go ahead and download this tool. You'll be able to relaunch the screen. Relaunching is just a matter of backing out and maybe refreshing the module.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to select, I'm actually going to, I'll cancel so I'm back to about where you are. Cancel that. So here we are, we're back here. Maybe make sure that you have refreshed your screen. Let me refresh or reload. Let's go through that pathway again. Going to go to the plus within the module or in line with the module. Over the pull down menu, again, we're looking for that external tool, the underutilized external tool option. And we're selecting ARC. Once we've selected ARC, we'll be back into this interface and we're going back through the record option to talk about recording. This time, now that we've set it up, we're going to launch the screen capture. Now I leave this on because I train on it and it makes sense, but go ahead and open that, click the box to not show that pop-up anymore in order to open it. And we should be seeing it right now. Hopefully, it's the speed issue right there. There we, come on, here we go, there we go. It's taking just a second. All right, so you see a little bit about what's happening here right now. And I'm going to go through these settings and then we will create our own recording as part of our practice before we launch the caption. What we can do here is we can determine if we're going to show our screen and our webcam with it. So if you want to have a little bit of both, face for accountability, screen for instruction, there you go. You can go with the webcam only, and you can go with the screen only. Now, you can start it out this way, but you'll have the option of switching between each of these pieces while you are creating the recording. That's kind of fun. In terms of size, you'll see we have 480p, 720p, and full screen. But you're looking at mine, I'm not necessarily in full screen because let's say you select 720 or 480, you're going to be able to determine the screen area that you're showcasing by moving this component around in order to fit the screen that you're working through. And that's actually something that I tend to do, is it makes it a little bit easier to access some of these tools as I'm going through the content as needed. And we can choose our source for the narration. If we jump into preferences, then this is going to give us an option to work through different hotkeys for the content. Just going to cancel out of that. And I'm going to hit record. In fact, before I hit record though, I'm going to move over to a different slide. And this is part of the practice that you should do if you're doing this. If you're adding this via external tool, go to the external tool, then get to the slide, have a new slide open, or if you're using a PowerPoint, pull in that PowerPoint, whatever it happens to be, so that you can go through the recording. You're going to have to leave the canvas aspect open or the ARC aspect open. If I hit this X, then I'm not going to be able to do the recording. So let me hit record. 3, 2, 1, love the countdown. So here I am, I'm recording this video right now. This is your ARC activity. I want you to create a page. Actually, the next activity is going to be able to create a page. I'm looking at my border right now, just paying attention to it. Now we're going to go to, hey, there's a lot of Nick on the screen. Sorry everybody about so much face on a Friday afternoon, but I'm getting personal with my students and I'm engaging them. Then it's back to the content and I'm hiding myself right now, that lower right-hand corner. I'm doing it for effect. And I'm going to bring myself back into the recording in the lower right-hand corner. And I'm going to continue on with this process as I work through the content. But I need to make a point of emphasis. So here I am again. Dramatic pause, back into the content with me in the lower right-hand corner. Moving back up to the upper left-hand corner, and this time I'm going to select pause. As I select pause, I am going to move my way over to the done option. When I'm done, I'm going to give this a title. There we go, and possibly even a description. This is also a space where you can access a couple things like some of your previous recordings by going back to those recordings. You can use this space also to go through this edit option, which is going to allow you to make some edits to the recording, like being able to navigate through the content, etc. You can choose whether or not you're going to show your webcam. I like the cursor because it shows up as a red cursor. You can even add, or not red, we can choose the color that we're using. So it is red, should be red. And then we can also determine whether we want that webcam to show, and we can add music. We can add background music. Let me go with done. I'm going to upload, and I'm going to let this run its course. While I'm doing this, I'd like you to do the same thing. This will get us back to the same spot here in just a minute. So go ahead and use that screen capture and go through just 10 seconds or 30 seconds of a recording, just so you can get to the practice and let ARC do its thing to upload this. This takes a little bit longer than other videos that I've uploaded, but I'll be quiet, go ahead and run that, then I'll show you the captions. How's that coming together?
Still uploading.
Okay.
I went a lot longer, 48 seconds.
Oh, okay. We're good. Go ahead and approve that uploading, and then you'll see that it's going to place it into ARC, and you might watch a process thing spin around for just a second. I'm in the external tool, remember. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to embed it. And there's going to be one last step. Change the name of that tab. It just comes in as ARC, or at least think about it, remember it. But there you go. We'll be able to add that item. And there it is, a little less real estate through the screen capture and through the external tool, but there we go.
Nicholas, I have a question.
Sure.
To do screen capture, do you have to do it through the external tool?
No, absolutely not. We could have, this is one of 3 places actually to do it, 4 places. We could do it from the global launcher, we could do it from the course launcher, we can do it from Rich Content Editor, and we can do it through external tools. So,
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I just want to make sure.
sure, no, good. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, it's already set up to go to external tool. Now it's got to even navigate right there.
Awesome, excellent. Just, I know, I'm sorry, but we're about there for that first hour. I guess we are there for that first hour. Do you have a couple of minutes to talk about captions?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes.
Okay. I typically run my captions from my menus, but you can see that you can actually run captions or take a look at captions right here directly from the video and run through the request. But let's go the other pathway, if you'll indulge me on this one, please. What I'd like you to do is, once you've added that external tool, once that video is in place, go ahead and make your way over to the ARC icon in the global navigation menu.
Yeah, Nicholas, we don't have that. It's not configured for us. We
Okay,
have
that's fine.
on the left menu side.
So let's go to the ARC launcher in the course navigation menu.
Okay.
Really, there's not any significant difference between going through this menu, the ARC launcher, versus going through the course navigation menu launcher. The difference is that when you make that launch, you land in different spaces. If I go through the ARC launcher, I'm going into my classroom. And within the classroom, I'm looking at not only my videos, but I'm looking at the videos that the students have uploaded. If I go through the global navigation menu, I actually go up into a space called My Uploads. And in My Uploads, I'm looking at what I call my video library or my video sanctuary. I go to the place where the videos hang out before I'm going to place them in the classroom. And this hour is going to be devoted to that. Before we officially launch the second hour, though, go to that video that you just created using the screen capture or the webcam. And then from within that video, navigate down to those tabs where we see the details, comments, insights, and captions, and select captions. Now from this space, we have a couple of options. One, we can upload an SRT or VTT file into any one of the many languages that we can use for this. Now these languages are essentially a tab for a title for this content. Or, and I think this is very important, maybe more important, we can run a caption request. That caption request is going to queue, then submit this video in to receive a caption or return a caption that I can edit. That's important. I can edit the caption. Now this is stating that it's going to be returned with about 85% accuracy. I think it's better than that, but factors will determine that. Different factors will determine that. How clearly is the speaker speaking? How good is the audio source, etc. So I'm going to first determine which language is spoken by going to this pull down menu. And I have everything from German to 3 versions of English to Spanish to French, all the way down to Swedish. Now this is not going to translate for you. Don't hope for a Czech translation on an English video. Rather choose the native language for the video. I'm going to go with English US, and now I'm going to run a request. That's it, it's queued, and I'm going to wait for this to be returned. I'll be notified via email when it's returned, and that's going to let me know that that has happened. Once it's returned, I will be notified, or I will be able to review the content. Now, just for the sake of time, I'm going to move into a different recording that is hopefully captioned in here someplace. Let me take a look at this one. Nope. My problem is I captioned quite a few of these videos, but I forget which ones I caption. Here we go. So this is one that I've captioned, and let me just jump into it to showcase that. I ran English captions. If this were that fresh video and once yours is returned, you'll notice that it's fairly quick. You'll see review in that. And that's essentially is going to let you go into this space. Once you hit review and publish, you'll be able to go into this space where you can edit the content. Now my practice here, if I'm really serious about making these edits, is to first, oh, by the way, that first one's been returned on me, so why don't I go to that one instead? 55-second video, took us probably about 2 minutes to get those captions. There's the review and publish. By the way, did you run captions? Did you try that out?
Yeah, actually I did.
Has it been returned yet?
It's already been returned.
Fantastic. So select that review and published. Here I am. So here I am. Probably need a period right there. I'm recording this video right now. Well, I probably and play the video. So here I am. I'm recording probably do it at half speed. Right. This is your ARC activity. So ARC comes in weird sometimes. So I just, right there, I just corrected that. The video paused. If I just click outside of that name, then I can move on and follow along with whatever I'm stating. The line that I'm talking about, the line that I'm working through, the line that's in the video is going to be highlighted within the space. There we go. Now we're going to go to, hey, there's a lot of things on the screen. Sorry, everybody. Anyway, you see the point.
Nicholas, I think it even tries to put punctuation, which is pretty cool.
Just 1 second here, sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say, it even tries to put some punctuation in, which YouTube does not do. It attempts it. Did you see, when you first came in, you had there was actually already a period at the first end of it. You've got some letters, yeah.
Yes, it tries to get the punctuation marks right. What happens is if you do what I've just done and you get sidetracked, it's not going to give you hyphens for a sentence, or I love doing ellipses for sentences, or put things in parentheses, which I do a lot of too. It's actually, if you want to take this on a personal level, it's a good way to review how well you speak publicly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we use this for audio files too to generate transcripts?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, all right.
So let's pretend I've gone through this entire process. And it only takes a couple of videos for you to go through, to train on, and to create and edit your captions for, to learn that you just should speak a little bit more slowly, and that you should finish the thoughts that you are working on when you start making the sentence. It's handy that way so that you don't get sidetracked in your own content. I've just published this. They're published under CC. I will see English. It's going to land on the page as a, was that super or supra title. Once it's published, I can go into the space, I can delete it, I can replace it, I can download it, which is nice if you are thinking about uploading an SRT file in, say, Arabic, and I can still go back in and edit the content if I catch a mistake. So with that, let's call an end to part one of the training and go through questions related to part one of the training, and then we'll adjust and make our way into part two of the training.
The only question I have, earlier you had mentioned about, you thought that there was something that the percentage was higher. Could a person go in here then, let's say you have somebody that says, oh, it's 60%, but you believe it to be 80%. Go in here and change that, and is it?
You mean on the analytics, like how much somebody saw? Can you change the analytics, I guess, is what she's saying. When you showed, you mean the instructor, can the instructor change the analytics?
Yeah, just like when he went in there and he was doing punctuation. So my question is, can you go ahead and change, let's say, you know, a percentage on something, basically change what the person said.
Oh, right. Yeah, can you change what the person said? She's asking. You can, right? I mean, you can completely.
Oh, yeah. If I were to go back into the captions And let's say I were to select the edit. Maybe I could say,
It's gonna come up.
I'm the greatest.
I don't know what
Listen to me.
you have the ability to go in and edit it.
Yeah, so I guess our question really is like, who has access? Like, you know, if she
Oh, who has access? Okay.
buy a video and then her student, could her student come in and say, oh,
No.
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 that's good.
So the student is going to be able to run captions. Let's say a student submits a video as an assignment.
Okay.
And if the student submits a video as an assignment, the student could run captions on the video that he or she created as that assignment. A video like this that I'm placing as part of the classroom, I'm the instructor, I uploaded it, I'm placing it in here. I'm going to have control over that video.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't know what I stated here. I'm going to have to review the video. There we go. Okay, so let me just, we save that, it's automatically saving, and I'm going to hit back, and there we go. All right, is anybody leaving for this, or should we could just press on? What would you prefer?
Yeah, let's continue.
Awesome, okay. I'm actually going to take us back into the classroom to continue on, and then we'll come back into this space, the ARC Media space in the course navigation menu. So you actually don't have to follow along with me. Let me demo this content because I wanted to show you just a little bit of the student experience. For that, I'm just going to add an assignment, and I'll call this a new assignment. This is going to be my Woodland assignment. And let me add that item. There we go. I'm going to select this option just because I love rubrics. I'm going to add the rubric. There we go. I've added my rubric, one that I use and reuse a lot. This is more of a K-12 rubric, but it's a pretty K-12 rubric, so we're going with it. Selecting my favorite option for rubrics, option number 2, use this rubric for assignment grading, and then I'm going to update it. I don't care about the difference in score. Well, I do enough to change it. And let me move back into the edit space. Assignment, turn in a video. There, we'll do that using ARC, whatever the assignment is. And we're going to go with submission on this one. This is important. When you set up submissions using ARC, set up online submissions. And when you do online submissions, you can go with text entry or you can go with file uploads. Text entry, as you know, for a student is going to open up the rich content editor, and that means the student will be able to access the ARC icon in the rich content editor. The file upload is going to allow students to use the ARC tab to upload a video via the ARC tab in the classroom. And when we do this, when we do a file upload or text entry or combination of the two, or the student's going to be able to upload a video using the Canvas app, the Canvas student app. Let me strike not all those options. If we do text entry only, then the ARC submission doesn't show up on the student app. Let me make this due today just for ease, and I'm going to save and publish this. In fact, I'm going to go back to modules, and I'm going to actually duplicate this one so that I can show you the two different submission processes using the browser. For this one, I need to become a student. I'm going to go over, I'm going to log in as Abraham Lincoln. Maybe. There we go. Here we are, we're Abraham Lincoln. Look at this, coming up, Woodland assignment, Woodland assignment copy. There, the student knows that's happening. Look at this, Woodland assignment, there we go. Coming up to do, don't you love how that's in the students' faces just from the get-go? as I log into the course. Look at this, to do, woodland assignment, coming up, woodland assignment, woodland assignment. I hope we don't accept excuses anymore. Look at this, it's due today, right there. There's 6 reminders for the student. I could go over to the calendar and show you the other reminders for this, but there we go. Or I guess it's 5 reminders, 6 with the calendar. And what we're not seeing is that I have notifications about this assignment now too. So let's jump in as Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to go to this first assignment, and I'm just going to submit this assignment. For this assignment submission, I want to go through the text entry route first. So text entry opens up the rich content editor, and I can select the ARC icon in this space. As a student, we did this last time. We have the Gettysburg Address. The student could upload a video. They could, they could record that new video. Let's just record a short video using the webcam. 3, 2, 1. So I'm recording a video as Abraham Lincoln right now. Let's do Gettysburg Address or something. Let's do the second inaugural address. One thing to note when you actually do these recordings, or when students do submit these videos, if they resubmit the same video in the classroom, reuse the same video in the classroom, it's going to show up again in the, say, in the grade book, and it's going to make it so that we can see the comments that we had applied already. So they can't get away really with double dipping in the same course. Let me embed that video. And there it is, crickets, submit that assignment. Submission details, there we go, it was submitted. It's 4/19 out here in Salt Lake City. Next, let's go to the student's pathway. Student looks at the agenda, or excuse me, the rubric. Yeah, this is good and informative. I better write a good thesis statement. Submit assignments. We're looking at ARC right now. The student is going to, let's actually reuse the same video so you can see that. Select the video from the uploads and then embed the content. And then submit the assignment. We'll see that we have the submission details, 4/19. Let's go back over into, actually let's go into one of these videos just so you can see it. I'm gonna go into submission details, and this is what the student is going to be seeing. Now, you'll notice that the student has details, comments, no insights, but the student does have captions, which means the student could run a caption and change the caption for his or her own video. So let's say Abraham Lincoln's going to watch this for a little bit. Jump up here, make a comment. We're double dipping on this one. And hit enter, resume, be done. Now let's just switch back over to the other side. I'm back as me over here. I'm going to jump into grade so we can take a look at this through the grade book. I'm still using the current grade book in this setting. I haven't switched this over to the new grade book just yet. I'm going to go into this assignment and then take a look at it in the speed grader. Now we looked at recording number 2, but look at that. There is Abraham Lincoln's comment that he made. If he wanted to, you could have students annotate their own videos in the grade book using that as submission details in order to provide some valuable insight on their own content. And since I just used that word insight, look at that. We can see that Abraham Lincoln didn't watch all that video from the 2-second mark to the 11-second mark. They skipped ahead and then added that comment. That's a good way to catch students who are just jumping through videos to add comments or to reply to comments. We know that they're kind of cheating. We're able to see that they have skipped ahead when they go through the content that way. So let me go through comments and let's go through the grading process. This video right here was submitted as the text entry. It's going to take up less space in the speed grader. Let's go through the practice of it. Here I am, I'm watching this video. Interesting premise. I'm commenting where it is going to be insightful and meaningful because he just said something both insightful and meaningful. Enter, go on. This is like a red pen, really. I'm like circling content right now.
Do submit these videos.
Awkward. Pause.
If they resubmit the same video in the classroom, reuse the same video in the
There we go. I've added those comments where they're going to be timely and relevant. Really, this is where we need to start thinking about ARC a little bit differently, because we're not just going over to our comments and saying something like, hey, at the 10-second mark, you said this. And then at the 3 minute and 48-second mark, you said this when, and going through some really awkward flow in order to give the student feedback. This is where it's going to make sense. Abraham Lincoln comes back and watches the video. You can go to those comments or look at my comments down below to see what's happening. If they're much more drawn out, they can read through the contents and get some ideas and maybe even ask questions of it. For me, I've used this. This is my way of giving direct feedback, of highlighting a sentence, of underlining a sentence, of providing an edit for a sentence. This is what I've done. And I can go back to the broader grading. I can click my way through the rubric, the scores tabulated, and then I can finish this all up, submit my comments, etc., and move on to the next student as needed. But I don't have a next student, so I won't. Let's go back to this other one. This was the file upload. File uploads will take more space. There we go. We have those black edges. And still change this over, make it a little bit smaller. Because this video has already been used, I have all of those comments in place. I still have the same insights. That's why I did this, so you can see what happens if you reuse the same video. Now, if you find yourself needing to reuse the same video, make a copy of it and upload that copy. Do you have any questions about this process that we've just gone through?
I do. Nicholas, if I had a student submit an essay and then I wanted them to reflect on that writing, like what was it that they, really worked on in this one? Can I have them do it simultaneously so that they're, actually I have to look at the assignment, how we set that up. I'm just trying to picture in my head how, if we could do that. If we were all together, that would be kind of cool, like the video with the paper.
Yeah, I get what you're saying on that one, and it's a little bit difficult for the student. As an instructor, you could have the student upload the file first and then upload the ARC video. You'd be looking at, on the instructor side, they'd be pulling the content through a pull-down menu, and they could look at one or the other. Where that'd be awkward for the student is they can only access the one piece for that.
Okay, so just 2 assignments then.
Do it as 2 assignments, yeah.
Okay, yeah, just to know. Okay, good.
Well, that's good though. I like the way you're thinking there. Let me go back into this first Woodland assignment. We're going to, we can view the rubric evaluation. There we go. Nice work on that rubric. But that video, let's get rid of that rubric. There we hit that X. There's that video. The student sees the comments. Student can reply if needed. I'm replying as needed. And student could delete or edit his own. Can't edit or delete mine. And that's how the student is going to get feedback on this content, or could potentially get feedback on this content, or have a dialogue on some of this content, depending on what you are doing in your own classroom. Let me bring it back to me. And I just want to give a shout out to discussions. As was it Brian? Are you teaching an online course or solely online course?
Yes.
All right. So discussion, first of all, discussions are great. Discussions are great in Canvas. They're underutilized in Canvas. They can be graded or both. They can be graded or ungraded, and it's a good way to engage students, especially in that online space. It's like your forum. Now, Brian, the combination of video and a discussion, I think, is almost like peanut butter and jam. We'd like the idea of melding these 2 pieces together in order to, one, know your student, or let your students know that they're not operating in a vacuum, that this online space can still be incredibly interactive. And the video comments, in addition to the student comments, is one way to go about that process. Then, just a simple exercise for day one in the classroom is to build a discussion where you have students record a video and submit that video. For some reason, at Instructor, we like to introduce ourselves by telling 2 truths and a lie. I don't know why we want to start out by lying to our co-workers as 2/3 of our, or 1/3 of our introduction, but we do. And so we've done that. This is a couple years ago. She's now my manager. Well, she's not my manager anymore. She was for a while. We still work together. She created a video. We replied to the video. Annie Oakley replied to the video. Coworker Birai, who you may have seen in the campus community, replied. Marie Curie replied. And this is a way to have comments along the way. The 2 truths and a lie. 2 truths, and then we had our overall comments. Hey, welcome to the classroom. That was a big comment for that. It's not just specific to the sentence. It's a general hello. As we move on down, Marie Curie, she created a video with a Marie Curie thing, and we had comments within that space, and then overall comments to the content. So if you open this up, this is really kind of a fun way to create some interaction in the course. And I'll have to say that one of my favorite ARC activities happened as a discussion. There's a law school in the Midwest that uses ARC, and the professor had the students, he gave the students all a series of documents as part of the layout or the instructions for the discussion. He or she, I don't know if it was a male or female. So he or she gave out a series of documents, and the professor said, I would like you to turn these documents into closing arguments for this court case, and I want you to upload the video and to ARC, and then comment on the videos that other students have submitted. So this to me my background is in history. This to me was brilliant, because not only are you having somebody question some sources and and synthesizing and creating something out of those sources, but you're also looking at how other people will question the same sources and learn from the students who question those sources differently. As a historian, I can see this applied to primary sources and having students evaluate primary sources, or even books and secondary sources. A discussion, in many ways, we could have used discussions for my graduate school seminars, but I digress. There's some really powerful things you can do with discussions, with graded discussions. And I encourage you, Brian, really one of those first activities, first week, is to have students introduce themselves using ARC videos as part of a discussion. They can introduce themselves to the classroom.
Yeah, but you're making an assumption that those students are going to have access to a webcam, and so they can do that, which, I don't know, does the mobile Canvas app, is that going to handle that? You can use a mobile device?
Can they use mobile devices? Can students use a mobile device to do it?
Students can, in that case, it's a little bit difficult. Students could use a mobile device to turn in the content. I get what you're saying there in that regard.
Yeah, so Nicholas, well, we have, now we have laptops that students can check out with webcams and mics. We're in a very rural area, and actually in one of our campuses, the Lake campus, there are students who take online courses and actually show up at the campus because they don't have computers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's something that we'll have to work through as a community, I think, to
I mean, I can certainly see myself, creating an introduction to ARC for my students for basic, for those who have it, so if you want to submit your introduction using ARC, do this, see this video, walk them through it, but then give them the option to just do a traditional text introduction and do it either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't assume students all have the technology to do these things, even when they're taking an online class.
So Nicholas, so what Brian's saying is giving students the option. Couldn't we set up a discussion? So if you're going to do, I'm just trying to picture this, in the discussion board, we set up the ARC thing, but then.
Well, it's the same thing. I was just looking at this, and it's like I've got a discussion prompt, so the student gets reply, and they get the text text field in the bar, and then again, they would have the icon to activate ARC,
Okay,
and so they would be
right.
pull that up, and then they could go and start recording and embed that in their response. So it would be easy
Right.
for them, and if they don't have the webcam.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we got it. Brian just walked me through it.
Okay.
We're training each other now. That's good.
Right. So, I was also just trying to. I don't have my mobile device, or I don't have my anything with the student app in front of me right now.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, the ARC doesn't launch directly from a discussion in that app unless it's changed and I missed it. Although you can submit an assignment using ARC. In
Okay.
terms of connectivity, though, everybody, I venture to say that most of your students already have that recording device in terms with their cell phone. They could record themselves, and when they get to campus, they could upload that as needed too, if they wanted to personalize that video. So I understand the connectivity issues. I do understand the connectivity issues that you are referring to, though, in terms of that content.
Tips for students on how to get the video in there. Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, though, how are the students doing some of the virtual courses if they have connectivity issues? Are they coming to campus to do the virtual courses?
Some are.
Yeah, some.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, at least in the year and a half I've been doing the online class, no students approaching and saying that I have real issues, interfacing with the course. And again, it's understood that if online, we just got to assume that they're going to have access somehow, somewhere. No one's
Right.
major problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, and we have some of our we're just kind of coming up to this modern threshold of technology. Our lab, we have some things that are very cutting edge right now, like ARC, and then we've got some labs that, we don't have webcams and mics on them, but we do now have this treasure trove of beautiful laptops that do have the webcams and the mics, so we'll have to try to promote that.
Like I said, the only way I'm going to be able to do this is using my personal tablet.
Mhm.
My office computer does not have a webcam.
Yeah, so institutionally, we have a lot of work to do, but this is going to make people, I think, excited about that. So
I want to chime in on that a little bit, just real quickly. One thing I'm thinking out loud is on most of these devices, we have like the OneDrive integrated within our Canvas, and it can be also on the tablets and smartphones. So the idea is when you make a video on those devices, you save it to your OneDrive, and then when you're in Canvas, you can just select it and it'll import it in for it.
excellent, Susie. We'll write that up then
Yeah.
as a tip for students. That's great. Thank you for,
Awesome.
yes, okay.
Yeah. So there are ways we can record ourselves on the phones, tablets. Everybody has that pocket recording device. Nearly everybody has that. I think that it may be just an extra step or two along the way to create the recording, but I think we can make it happen. Students are going to be facing the same issue writing papers. They'll have to have something to write a paper on, to submit that electronically, and so on. So we're looking at an issue that shouldn't just be focusing on video components, as it might even be easier for some students to create a video than it would be for them to actually sit down or have a laptop to write a paper. I couldn't imagine writing a paper. I actually tried to do a paper once on a cell phone for a coworker, and it was horrible.
Yes, well, we have students to do it.
Well, you do. I can't text as quickly as students. Incidentally, just as an aside, I wonder how many words per minute a student can text. I'd be curious to see what that breakdown is.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I've seen students, between, predictive, features. Actually, that's often how I text faster, is I get the first couple letters in, see what the prediction is. If it's like I tap it in and go, it's still slow because I'm almost 50, but
Awesome.
Yeah. No, this is great. This is not a bad thing. It's just us, as we provide support to our students, we just have to think through some unusual things. Yeah.
Nope, no, no, it's just fine. That's how you should be treating the training. So that's great. That's great. So for the last little bit, let's go back into the ARC tab in our course navigation menu. That ARC tab is going to take us into, again, that space for our classroom. And look at this, again, that was the student submission. I see the student submission. In fact, if we want to use a bunch of air quotes, we as instructors will air quote own the student's content that's submitted for a course. This is Abraham Lincoln's submission. He can still access his submission through the gradebook, or through his grades or through his assignment, but it's under my control or my course by going through this space or in the ARC space for the course. Here's me, the screen capture that I launched and added, I own that. Here's Abraham Lincoln. Here's my coworker, Alicia, who doesn't clean up after herself in my course. Here's an Abraham Lincoln video submission for The Simpsons. I don't remember the story on that, but it happened. And so this is where we're going to see the different videos that we have submitted. And for me, it's kind of actually awkward to go back to my old videos because I don't know why I had a mustache, but apparently I had a mustache a few months ago. In this space too, we can go into the videos and get a little bit more content. For example, this is the same conversation that you just saw me go through in the gradebook. I can also take a look at this content here. We can have the submissions and we can take a look at the insights. Now, where this is important is for those videos where we're not sharing the insights or not sharing the comments, when we've deselected that or flipped that toggle so that we're not going to have the comments on our content. If you remember, I did that for my second, if I remember, I did it for this content page right here. If I wanted to get those comments and insights, etc., I could go to that video under my training space or through the ARC launcher, and I'd still be able to see how long the students watch this video if they watch the video in the classroom. So I can still access the content that way. One piece that's nice too, when we look at the menus, and the order of the content in the menus is going to be by the order that they've been placed, most recent, top left, and then all the way to the latest. But one thing that's nice in here is that there's a pull-down menu associated with the videos, so we can see the different places where they're located. That means we can skip from course to course to course to course on some of our commonly used videos. I'm going to go into my uploads to get to this one a little bit more quickly. I'm just going to scroll down to find the video. I have this video right here. And you can see I've used it in multiple classes. This is me introducing myself. It's vague enough that I can say Nicholas Demas because I didn't say Nicholas Demas Utah history, Nicholas Demas US history, Nicholas Demas world history. I just went with Nicholas Demas. And so I've included it in a training that I did that, I don't know if you saw this, but there was an online series about ARC last November. I actually recorded my portion of it ahead of time and I shared it with my coworker. Can go into that ARC training course, and that's the video that we saw at the very beginning of our training today. I can go really back up to my uploads to see it. Now from that menu space, from the ARC launcher, actually go ahead and select that and launch that for me, please. Once you've done so, click on the wedding cake or the hamburger or the 3 lines. And I would like you just to look at this menu for a second. I do want to go through it just a little bit before we reach the end of this training. In this space, you see my uploads and shared with me, and I'm going to talk about what shared with me is here in just a minute. It's very descriptive in its title. And then we have this line right here. I think of this line as a demarcation line or as a scrubber, as everything that I have up in the space, videos that I may have shared with other instructors and have them comment on, every time I cross that line to add it into a course, it's essentially a fresh video when I do that. Every time I use a video from course to course, like grab one of my coworkers' videos from this communism allegories in the Crucible, and I place it into my Utah history course, then it's going to come with fresh comments and fresh insights. Each video is going to be fresh. Every time you reuse the videos in a course copy, they will be fresh. We do not have to worry about content bleeding over from semester to semester or from class to class within the same semester. I would like you to make your way up to Shared With Me. Under Shared With Me, you probably don't see anything, but this is where you're going to be viewing videos that have been added by other users. There's my coworker, Erin Wasson. She sent this video to me. There's Abraham Lincoln. He shared this video with me. And now let's make our way up to my uploads so I can show you what sharing is. Well, essentially, sharing occurs when we add a video to a course. We've decided to place the video in the course, therefore we are sharing the video with the entire course. Well, this is a little bit different than the actual sharing that we are about to go through. So from my uploads, go to one of those videos that you've just created, select the 3 dots, and then select Share Media. I'll show you in a few minutes how we can do this from within a video as well. When it comes to sharing the content, there are really 2 ways to share content. We can use it and share the video content publicly, or we can share it with individuals by going to people. And please select people now if you're trying this out or following along. Now we can share with users in our institution, but there is a caveat. There's a really big caveat to this. The caveat is that in order to be able to share with somebody in the institution, they will have needed to launch ARC at some point. Now, I don't know the first time that you actively used ARC, but the first time you did use ARC, you went through a little pass-through where essentially Canvas and ARC were doing a virtual handshake, and your credentials in Canvas were being placed against the credentials in ARC. They matched up, the virtual handshake occurred, and you became an ARC user based on that handshake occurring. The reason why I went into that long, boring statement about that is because if nobody has launched or somebody has launched it, you will not be able to share it with that user within your Canvas instance.
Okay.
So if you type somebody in, their name doesn't automatically appear either by typing by name or email address. That's probably because they haven't launched ARC yet. And in the 2 years of doing this training, I've only heard of one time where this did not work. And that was just some weird technical reason. I don't remember what it was. All right, I'm going to share this video with Abraham Lincoln. And so I've started typing his name. There's Abraham Lincoln. And I can do so with 2 pieces. I can allow him to view it, and I can allow him to edit it. If I allow Abraham Lincoln to edit, really the big benefit to that is that Abraham Lincoln can download the video. If he can view the video, he can only view the video. Edit in this case does not mean that Abraham Lincoln can run it through tools to shorten the video, to go through any of that process. It really does come down to downloading it. And that, again, serves a purpose. I was in Canada when I had those videos, and my coworker was in Phoenix. She needed those videos. She needed to be able to upload those videos. And ARC was really the easiest way for me to upload a video and then for her to be able to download the video in order to place them into our virtual space, into Canvas Live, so that people could watch these marketing videos about ARC. To remove the sharing, I simply need to hit that X, or in this case, since I haven't saved it, I could cancel. But hit X, and then I'm out of there. Let me go back in and let's talk about links, because this to me has been incredibly useful as a trainer. With links, I don't use the second option very much, this embed code option. With links, so I could take this embed code and I could place this on my personal website if I wanted to. or you can place it on the school's website, or you can just embed it someplace to bring it in. This public link is my ally because I've worked with a lot of clients in my time as a trainer at Instructure, and clients come back to me with questions, and those questions are sometimes really easy to answer. Yes, go to that thing and click on that thing. But sometimes they are really hard to answer, and I have to say, go here, look for this, find this, the purpose for that is this, and therefore this, and so on. And that's a long email to compose, and sometimes the Canvas guides are not very useful for me. What I can do with this public link, though, is I can create the video, I can show the process, I can copy it, and then I can share it with others. You get the link to it. And just note that these links are basically like sending a YouTube video link. You're doing so without being able to get the analytics, nor are you going to have the commenting associated with it. It's just me sharing a video with you. But for me, again, incredibly useful. And I could see you utilizing it internally just to showcase how to work through a process on something if that person is not part of a course that you are teaching. Back to these videos. When we select the 3 dots, we can also replace the thumbnail, which is kind of nice when we get those awkward starts on videos. And that's what I have right here. That's just the thumbnail that I placed on my video. Thumbnails, however, are not going to show up on everything. For example, this YouTube video, I'm not going to be able to add a thumbnail to that. When we select the thumbnail, if we replace the thumbnail, it's just a matter of finding one from our computer and placing it as part of that screen. Next in here, we can delete the media. And if we elect to delete the media, then we have to delete it twice. But let me pause right here and talk about what deleting means. If I've uploaded video into my uploads and I haven't placed that video in a course, I cannot, or if I delete the video, it's gone. However, if I've uploaded a video to my uploads, or if I placed a video in a course, and when I place a video in a course, it automatically populates my uploads, that video still exists with that course. And if I really want it to be gone, I need to delete it in both places. And that creates hopefully a bit of a sense of security so that if somebody deletes a video from a course, that it is still recoverable from my uploads. And not only is it still recoverable from my uploads, but that video that's related to that course assumes an identity from that course. And so if that video is deleted from a course and then is brought back in, those comments and those insights come back in with it. And that happened to me when a coworker deleted my homepage in the video with my homepage. I was able to restore it with all the comments and with all the insights. And that's, again, my important video. It's the one with all my insights, details, and analytics on it. Go back into the video. A couple items that we didn't talk about were up here. We can delete the video from within the video. Anything above that line, as long as it's, or excuse me, anything in my uploads, and sometimes if it's shared with me, if the edit rights are on the shared video, I can download those videos above the line, and I can download student videos below the line as well. Above the line, I can share content. Below the line, I cannot share that content. Just by way of illustration. Let's go into this one. I can download the classroom video. I cannot share that classroom video. So when we first worked through the video, we talked about tags. We talked about the management of content. Let's review that one more time. Here's a screen capture. In order to better manage my videos, to place my videos into courses, I'm partially going to rely on course copying, but I'm also going to rely on me having gone through and made sure that that content is in place, and I'm going to need a system to do that. Part of the proposed upgrades to ARC is going to include a better management system. For right now, though, tags and details are going to be your, tags within details are going to be your best process for managing it. So let's do this as an activity. I'd like you to go to that practice video that you've created. I'd like you to go into details, edit those details, and add tags to it. Practice, enter, screen capture, enter, delete, enter, and use some of your coding for that. You can remove any of those tags by selecting those X's. Once you save, that's going to make it so that when you go up to the search mechanism, you'll be able to search by some of those tags or the name of the video. So spend a minute doing that, please.
Nicholas, if you do this from within the class, is it going to stick with it no matter what? You know, if you put this in another course, you know how we can keep this clean as we strip it. That doesn't get stripped out, the tagging?
It actually does strip out the tagging on it.
Okay, just to know.
Right, right. And for that reason, if I were doing tags, I'm probably focusing more in my uploads where I'm going to be finding videos to use in Utah history and US history and tagging them accordingly or tagging them by course code. And then just leaving the courses as they are as kind of like standalone components.
Gotcha, yeah.
So with that, do we have any other questions? Because I've talked about everything that I was going to talk about today.
No, this is all really good, really helpful.
No, this is great. We have to go play with this now.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But use it, try it out not only for the classroom, but for professional development. Use it, consider using it to host some of your, or to house some of your meetings, if you have some meetings.
Not a bad idea. And then I think, Nicholas, if we start using it, the whole campus is going to want it. So then I'll have to talk to Jason again, I guess. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you all. I appreciate you being here. Great questions, and thank you for attending. All right. I will stop my share, but thank you all for attending.